Tell the truth, I look better under you. I can lose when I'm with you. How can us lose and miss the moment? You just too important. Nobody like you do.
Hey guys, and welcome back to the second episode of the Talkative Mutha podcast. I am your host, Shay. I'm joined here today with my good sis, Unyque.
Hi.
Can you believe it? I have friends. Anywho, this is my good sis, Unyque. How long have we been friends for? I was thinking about it and I was trying to count, but I don't know what age I was when you came to school.
It was grade. I was 10.
Six,
I was 9.
Right? Was it 5 or 6?
Grade 5. I don't know.
Grade 5.
Yeah,
Okay.
Grade 5.
Was it? So who came in grade 6? I was thinking someone came in grade 6.
I came in grade 5.
Yeah.
But we didn't become friends
until grade 6. Okay, that's what it was. So how much years is that? I can't do math.
Like 13.
Wow.
13 years.
Anyways, okay, that was such an off tangent. So I just wanted to pause the video here to mention that the audio is kind of going to go in and out. Uni's still new to podcasting and she was twisting up the mic. So if you guys hear the fuzziness, sorry in advance. We are here. We got a few topics to talk about. I have my nice little drink here and Uni has my iced coffee. Pumpkin pie. I was gonna say pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin
Honestly,
pie.
Speaking of that, I didn't give you cinnamon. Did you want cinnamon?
Oh, shoot. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. I already drank half of it already, so there's no point.
Sure. Wait, let me try mine. I was waiting to mix it until. Oh wait, there's more. I'm just kidding. I was waiting to mix it until I started filming.
You know what's so funny, guys? She's like, oh, I got this mango drink. I was like, nah. I want an iced coffee. I'm gonna splash some pumpkin syrup and make it nice. And then this girl pulls out with this drink with strawberry and sugar on the rim and stuff. And I'm looking at her like, okay.
No, because listen, at first I was like, what do you want to drink? Because obviously she's driving, so I didn't really want to offer her alcohol or anything. So I was just like, did you want juice, water? What's the vibe? So I had this mango juice and I was like, yeah, we can have that in these cute little cups.
Yeah.
And then as she was making her iced coffee, I'm like, well, I gotta make mine cute because she's like, I'm gonna make brown sugar shaken espresso with pumpkin. I'm like, girl. So I'm like, okay, let me pull out the sugar rim.
You see how she's like, oh yeah, okay. This girl pulls out,
but listen,
I turned my eyes. I gave her the biggest side eye. I was like,
she's
what
like,
is that?
Now you're making me want this drink.
Like, what is
you
that?
You want to try it?
No.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I wrote down some things. I don't really know what I wanted to start with. I have a lot here that I wrote down. So I have a few Reddit questions or more advice topics.
The asshole for calling the girl ugly in front of all of my friends.
I seen that.
You ever have those friends that try to...
Me, I was that friend.
What?
I swear I done that to you, just not called you ugly, but
speaking on that, Sheila, you were an asshole.
Okay, listen.
No, when I met you...
He's really calling me out.
No, I'm calling you out because when I met you, I remember.
Was I the worst, though? I don't think I was the worst.
No,
I didn't... Let's bleep her name, but
Yeah. You weren't the worst, but you were part of... people looked at you like the cool girl, right? So
that makes me so sad.
I remember when you had this party. It was a Valentine's Day party. You don't remember? At your dad's house. And you invited everybody else.
At my dad's house?
It was at your dad's house.
The apartment?
Yes. I remember something like that. It was
okay.
And I think it was at your dad's house or either your dad's house, but it's one of your dad's house. And you invited everybody and I heard about it, right?
And I didn't invite you?
And I'm like, Sheila, can I come? And you're like, I don't know, because a lot of people are saying they don't really want you. And on top of that,
Wait, but hold your mic close to you, by the way.
Okay. On top of that,
I'm so sorry.
You had a paper and you wrote, does anyone want Unyque to come to...
No, listen.
Does anyone want Unyque to come to the Valentine's Day party? And everybody wrote no. And then you passed it to me, and I opened and I read it. And I'm like, you know what?
Stop.
This is my villain story because
This is my 13th reason. No, because literally, like, it makes me so sad and it's so weird. Like, I feel like I'm just like in a state where I'm like, she'll tell me all these stories, like, from her perspective of things, because obviously we were like,
yeah.
you know, more hard on you than like you weren't like doing these things to us per se, right? And she'll tell me, and I'm like, I'll hear it, and I'm like a part of me remembers it and like can see myself doing it, but at the same time I'm like, not even just that, it's like I feel like the person I really am to the core is not that. And I feel like I was like maybe like playing it up to like,
but I think
hang,
when we were all
you know?
kids, we just it is what it is, right? We were all of us were childish. We were freaking kids, right? So we didn't really think about another person's feelings. We just thought based on ours, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like with me, I don't really have a backbone either. I was really sensitive. I cried about everything. Like someone says, I don't like your shirt, I'm in the back crying.
But I feel like I was like that too. I just wouldn't like show it.
Oh, I showed it. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Like you made me cry, you will see my eyes red after coming back from recess because I was just sensitive like that.
There's so many stories like we have from our childhood, and she's so good at remembering. Like I'm like really bad. I don't know if it's like,
but I think that's a bad thing. Though.
No, but I feel like I would rather remember it all. I know it like feels like almost like holding a grudge a bit, or not holding a grudge, but like holding those things deep to you. But like it's a part of your like childhood story, right? And that's why you remember them.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I blocked out a lot of my childhood era. I don't know if it's like a trauma thing or like I just have so much new things that I need to remember now that like I pushed them like so far out of my memory. But like she's just so good at remembering like stories from us in elementary.
I don't think that's a good thing because it's all not really all the bad things, but like I think maybe because those things
affected you exactly.
Heavily. So I guess. But it's like I don't have a grudge on them. It's just based on, it's in the back of my memory, right?
Yeah, because it's something that kind of like added onto your list of like,
right? So it's like it's there and I remember it, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I know. I guess like it's crazy though. I feel like that's the craziest part about it all because it's like I remember specific details from my childhood. Like not everything's blocked out, but it's like I remember those things where it's like incidents that happened to me, you know? So it's like to hear all these stories of me just like nonchalantly, like, you know, having fun with friends, but like it affected you.
Because it didn't affect you, that's why.
Exactly.
So normally when you hear things like that and someone tells you, oh, you did this, you did that, you're going to think, oh, I didn't realize, you know why? Because it didn't affect you.
Exactly.
But obviously that person's going to remember because it affected them in some type of way, right?
Yeah.
So
I know it makes me sad though. Like whenever I hear stories, I'm like, I was actually a bully though. Like I actually like I wasn't the main bully, but like I added to the bully vibe because like that was what was like.
So yeah,
like it was keeping me popular. I know,
I
but
just
like
laugh about it because it's just funny.
It's not like sad. It's just more like, damn, I can't believe like I was that person.
Yeah, it brought me to being friends with you.
Right, so, exactly. She's been like, honestly, I think the only friend from elementary that I actually like continued to stay like fully friends with into my adulthood. You're like the only person, dead ass. I know. So at least like all the bullying led us somewhere.
Yeah, and guys, it wasn't like heavy bullying. I know. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
You know.
I know. I guess all the people from that era will know the vibe, but it's hard to explain, honestly. You kind of just had to be there to like know how it was, and we're not gonna like get into all the details of what it really was, you know, like that's unnecessary. But yeah, we had our stage where she probably hated me at some point, and now we're besties. Honestly, I know.
But we're good now.
We're good. Yeah, we pushed past it, you know.
Closer than ever.
Okay, you know what? I want to take this time to heal your inner child and say I apologize for being a bully. Because honestly, yeah, I really, really do. Like, I don't think I realized how, like, fucking rude I was. And like, okay, naturally I'm a very blunt person in the way I speak.
You weren't full on like bully. Like you had your nice moments as well, and then you had your blunt moments, like the party thing. You were so blunt about it.
Exactly.
I think that's what cut me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where some people would be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I don't have enough room."
Right.
You're like,
Right.
"I'm so sorry." People don't want you there.
Yeah, it was more like I wanted to genuinely tell her, like, this is why I'm not inviting you, not because I didn't choose to, but because, like, people are telling me they didn't want you there. So, like, I wanted to be genuine to explain that to you, but it came across as, like, why the fuck would you say that? You know?
And on top of that, why would you write a note asking people to say that?
See, and that's my problem is, like, sometimes I don't realize how blunt I'm being when I say things. Because, like, in my mind, it's just coming across as, like, being genuine, but it's, like, kind of, like, in a rude, aggressive way.
Like, it shows that you're an honest person. Right, to be honest and not, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it just differs how people take it as well.
Yeah, exactly.
People who actually know you, they're going to know it comes from a good place. Right. Someone who doesn't, it's going to come off very harsh.
Wow, not us pulling out my fucking red flags in this video. Shit. I really never thought of it that way, but that probably is a red flag to, like, people that don't know me. They may, like, get offended by, like, the way I speak or, like, just, like, literally how bluntly I put things and word things. I need to reevaluate my life. Honestly, yeah, I do apologize for, you know, all the things that I did to you and added to your trauma list.
If I didn't like you, I wouldn't be here today.
I know, it's true. Same.
And that's on learning curve.
Exactly. I feel like now also, like, just the kind of communication and things that we talk about, like, off camera, like, in a normal setting, we kind of just, you know, like, we have deep talks now. Yeah. Where it's like pretty much every time I leave a conversation with you, I'm like learning something new, or like, you know, we're just like, we just have that good, like, back and forth conversation where it's like, I feel enlightened when I talk to you. You know what I mean? And, like, I feel like a lot of conversations I have with friends could be like gossiping or, like, you know, the normal kind of friendships, right? But it's like with us, it's like we're genuinely talking about things to, like, better each other and, like, educate each other and, you know, just, like, become better adults and women, you know? So that was, like, one of the big reasons why I wanted to bring her on, because just, like, how we communicate with each other. But I wanted to say that to kind of get into our topics, because we need to stick on track with this. Yeah. One of the first kind of girl advice questions we saw on Reddit, which I feel like would be a good topic because some other people may have this question as well. A lot of the things we talk about obviously are just our own opinions. I mean, like, we're not the, like, you know, most intelligent beings out there. Just kind of like what we have educated ourselves on. And I have personally been learning a lot of things about finances from Unyque. So I wanted to, like, have her kind of explain a few things. Again, she's not like
an expert at all, guys.
Yeah, like, it's just, you know, she'll kind of get into, like, all those things, but I wanted to kind of put that as, like, a what do you call it? Not like a trigger, but what do you call it? Not a trigger warning. A little heads up before we get into this question. The question is, if you're in a position where you have some disposable income, what are some extra things that you would invest in?
Based on my experience.
Wait, actually, sorry.
Okay, when I say just like
meaning just like extra money that you have where your bills are paid and whatever, like,
and you have extra money laying around. Okay,
yeah, kind of thing.
I think the number one thing a lot of people do is they're like, oh, I have extra money laying around, well, maybe I can go out and spend extra things that you don't need. I was one of them, like,
like going and getting your nails done or your lashes done or buying an outfit or, like, going for dinner, random shit, right?
Like, I'm not gonna say don't do that, because, like, you should all, like, definitely spend
indulge
in your life, things that make you feel good. It's fine, right? But when you don't have a limit to that and you're constantly don't know where to put your money and then you spend it, obviously I know everybody says, oh, well, just put in your savings account. That's great, but I would advise, if you want to save your money, at least get a high interest savings account, right? Where your money is growing in your account while it's just sitting there, right? A lot of people, they save their money and it's sitting there for years and it's not growing while the economy is growing and you're losing money at the same time.
Right, yeah.
You can put your money in there, or you can put it in stocks, right?
Yeah.
Stocks are a great way to build your growth, your TFSA, right? Tax-free savings account.
So to like kind of interrupt, but like on a little side tangent, can you kind of give examples of like how you learned about stocks? Because I know it's like for me specifically, like I heard about it and I'm not like super in it and investing with stocks, and like it's kind of because I don't really know where to start. So like where would you say that you like what did you do to kind of learn about stocks that made you get to a point where you feel comfortable investing in certain places and whatever?
Based on like my experience, I learned off of YouTube.
Okay.
Right? Like everybody, YouTube is your best friend. There's thousands and millions of videos
subscribe.
On YouTube. Yeah, subscribe. YouTube's on stocks, right? And this is something that I really wanted to know, right? I had questions that I didn't know anything of, and no offense, I couldn't ask my mom about it because I don't think she really knew into that world of what that is, right? So I had to take it into my own hands. And
stocks is kind of like, it's not a newer thing because it's been around, but I feel like a lot of like, you know, the older generation isn't like too educated on it because they didn't really, unless you were rich growing up, obviously, you know, it's like you weren't into stocks like that to be educated.
When people think of stocks, they think of like, you know, Wall Street and those businessmen and things like that, right? Where like, I mean, the stock market's been there for like since like 1800s,
like a long time,
right? But you know, a lot of people, the thing about me is I am very hands-on. I like to do things myself, right? I don't want to rely on anyone to do, like, if you're, you know, from Canada here, right, we have a TFSA, right? I wanted to learn about these things. I do my own taxes. I do my own things, right? I'm like, in my head, I just think like, why would
someone wait for
just hurry up now.
Literally, I'm waiting.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, why would I pay you to do something that I can do?
No, for sure.
Right? And then a lot of people, it's because they don't know, and these financial people are, and I'm not coming out for financial advisors or people who are in that profession, field, right? But I'm just saying a lot of them do kind of scam you a little bit, right?
Yeah, because they're not educating you. They're just kind of trying to do their job to continue being able to,
right? And they make it seem like it's something hard, but then when you know how easy it is, you're like, what the freak?
Yeah, literally, like, for the longest time, like, still to this day, like, I've always got someone to do my taxes for me. And she told me, like, a few years ago now, I think. She's like, girl, I do it myself. I could show you. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, the thought of sitting down and doing my own taxes, like, confuses me. Because I don't know. I'm just, like, not educated, honestly.
That's the problem, though. Is a lot of people find it hard when you don't know what you're doing. Right? So it becomes hard, right? You're like, oh, this is hard. But when you know, like, it's not hard to actually find out what to do, right? Once you have those key basic things, you're like, okay. You know what I mean? But they keep people out of that loop to make it seem like it's something that's impossible to do. And then you end up paying hundreds of dollars to
have them do it.
So my advice is, no matter what, just get started. Just, it's like, oh, well, I don't know anything about the thing, right? And a lot of people, they don't invest their money, or they don't put their money in, they don't open the account, it's like, I don't know what to do. Just start. Right? There's going to be, I know a lot of people don't like it, but that's just how life is. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be risk, but if you start something, you eventually 9 out of 10 be successful in that.
Exactly.
In that area, right? So when it came to stocks, I didn't know what the heck I was doing, right? But I at least I started off small. So as small as $10. Right? So I started off small just to see what I was doing, right?
Exactly.
And then I watched a couple videos and I'm like, okay, well, this seems right. And I left it in there and I realized, oh, this is how it works, right? And as time continued going, it became easier for me, right? So the hardest part is just getting started. That's all it is, right?
I was gonna say, I don't know if you like know specifically, but I guess it's not something I really asked you, but like, how do you know which specific stocks to invest in? Like, is there a way to like know, okay, maybe I'm gonna make the most investing in this versus this, or should you go based on like things that, you know, appeal to you like that?
to me, I go based on what's been there long term, right? And what
Okay.
has the most growth, right? If I see something with a 10-year gap and I seen that it's been increasing for those
Right.
10 years, I'm gonna go with that, right?
Yeah.
Other than something that's trending, because trendy things, they go high and then they drop and you
Yeah.
lose your money, right?
Right.
The thing about when it comes to growing your money, everybody wants to do this fun, quick money thing,
Yeah.
right? Slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah.
You're trying to grow your money. Money is something that's, if it's important to you, don't
Like
you know what I
rush
mean?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like your hand's important to you and you're putting your hand in the fire. Why would you go do that?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So take your time with it and look for something that has a lot of growth in it, right?
Yeah.
And that's just based off what I go, right? With me, I like dividends. So basically, dividends is when you invest your money into a stock, the company gives you money for investing with them, right? So it's like a monthly payment, a percentage of a payment, or a quarterly, like every 4 months, right? So with me, I like that. I like getting paid monthly, right?
Just because you invested with them.
Exactly, right? And my goal, right, is to try to have passive income.
Yeah.
Right? Where I'm 24, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't want to work a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Same. I'm a stay-at-home mom, so shit.
Yeah, I don't want that.
I'm the
right?
worst.
I'm getting to my goal, which is really, really good, but I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I want to make passive income on the side, and I want to wake up like those movies and not do shit.
Yeah.
So
literally, like your account's just growing and you're just living, right?
Just get payments every month just to pay for my expenses and whatnot.
Right.
So that's basically my goal.
What you're
So
working towards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also keynote, if you are my number one stocks that I like to invest is like ETFs. So ETFs are basically, instead of just buying or investing into one company here, one company there,
Right.
ETFs.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say. Yeah,
ETF is basically like a basket with
different companies in it. Right.
So the number one that I like to do is S&P 500, right? So S&P 500 is basically 500 top or 500 largest companies in one basket. Okay. So you invest, say you put, I don't know, $100 in there. Your $100 would be divided into each of those 500 companies, right? Which is so much better
because it ups your odds, right?
Yes, and you have it's better growth for your money there, right? So just picking random, little ones, stuff like that. So it's really, really good, if anything. But that's something that I like.
ETFs, you said?
ETFs, yeah.
So any of you guys looking for any specific stocks to invest in, search up and do your research on ETFs for sure.
It has like Apple's, Amazon, Shopify, like TD, all the banks, all the everything, right? Yeah. So, I mean, instead of just putting your money into individual ones, get something that's an ETF, search up it'll tell you, and then you can invest your money in there.
What was like a key moment that got you into taking your like finances more serious? So like what got you to that point where you were like, I need to start researching to do this on my own? Like what really got you there? Like what to like take it more serious and like educate yourself on investing and how to like, build your finances for your future, like that kind of thing. Like what really got you to that point?
My age.
Just you getting older?
Me getting older, realizing that I need to take money more seriously. And that's about it. Because
would you say anyone like kind of pushed you towards that, or was it more just like because you were getting older you kind of just decided to do it?
More like that, and also knowing the fact that I was wasting my money on material things, and then things that I really needed, I didn't really have the funds for. Yeah. Right? So that's what made me want to take my money more seriously about it. Yeah. Because I'm like, okay, well, I have the money, but like, how can I actually make it go faster than what I have now? Right? Yeah. And I'm like, how are all these other people have, you know what I mean? How? Yeah. It's impossible for me. And then I realized about this. I'm like, okay, I'm going to take it seriously now. Right?
Yeah. So it's really just like the fact that you wanted to just kind of educate yourself as you were getting older and figure out how to like live a more financially free life.
Exactly. Because I've been broke my whole life.
Honestly, same.
I've been broke my whole life.
It's really up to us to educate the next generation coming. So
because they don't really, to be honest, everything when it comes to finance and money, they don't teach everybody that's an
Yeah.
adult. They don't teach you at school.
Exactly. It's
You
unfortunate.
know all about your money after you graduate outside
Right.
of school
And
is
you
when
just
you start
it's just
to
based
learn.
on like learning and experiencing it
Exactly.
as you go kind of
So
thing.
that's why I had to take it upon my hands, because some of the questions that I had, I couldn't really ask
Anybody.
my family members because they didn't really know anything about that, right? And then
because they're trying to figure it out along the way too.
Exactly. And I figured out through mistakes, through things, and I'm like, oh shoot, oh, I was late. You know what I mean? That's how I learned certain things, right? So it's good to take your experience and to show and to explain to others, okay, this is what not to do, this is what to do, this is what this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I didn't have that. So
yeah, and that's also why I wanted to like touch upon this, because like I know it's maybe like a topic that doesn't seem as interesting to some people. It's a little bit like of a boring thing and it's not as exciting, but it's really something that like if you know even the slightest bit of knowledge, like I said, she's not an expert, but like she knows much more than me. So I really wanted to touch upon it just to be able to educate you. Even if you learned one thing from this little segment of the finances, like that's all that matters, right? And we were able to kind of put our foot forward to explain that to you and educate you and maybe push you, even if you needed just like a push to get into the right direction. You know, so yeah. Okay, I did have one more question. What advice would you give maybe your parents to give to you that would have put you in a better spot financially? Is that hard?
No, but that one's like a thinker.
It's
like
packed,
I really
right?
think about that.
Or maybe I can reword it like something once you become a mom that you would like to explain to your child, even if it's just one little tip of advice. What would you want to give to them to have them be able to kind of get to a point where they're not continuing the cycle? If it's not maybe something you would want your parents to say to you, maybe something you would say as a parent to your own child. I'll let you think. You can think about it. I'll answer. I'm really not educated and I'm really not at a point where I can be like, I'm financially free and I'm like the perfect example. But what I would say to my daughter, I love doing that accent, by the way. I hope you guys don't hate it. That's why I called myself the talkative mother, because like I'm just always doing accents. But anyways, something that I would say to her, honestly, and I don't even know if this is the best, it's kind of just like what just came to mind. I guess I wouldn't like give her one specific thing, but I would say more like once, you know, she gets to an age where she's able to kind of understand things, like in her teenage years, I guess, and like early adulthood. Because like little side tangent, I feel like a lot of parents, or at least what I've experienced, I don't know if there's different kind of ways of parenting out there, I'm sure there is, but what I've experienced is like maybe in your like teenage years your parents will say things like, oh, you can't spend all your money on this or you can't spend all your money on that, and then you get to your young adult years and it's like, all right, you need to start thinking about your future, like saving for school, saving for your career, saving for your house, saving. But then it's like they don't like really give you the pointers on how to get to those
So then
things.
I'm gonna steal it from you as well.
Okay, go.
No, like I 100% agree with you when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I wish that, because you know, my mom, like certain questions I had, she didn't really know.
Right.
She knew of, but she didn't
know how to like teach us in the right direction. Yeah.
So it's like when I got into those areas and say credit cards, right?
Yeah.
My mom has credit cards of her own, right? Yeah. I didn't know about certain things about credit cards. So when I made a mistake and she would get mad about it, I'm like, I wish that you would have explained, and then the mistake wouldn't have happened, right? Then she'll tell me, you're supposed to do that. I'm like, okay, well, why didn't you give me the heads up, right?
Same,
like,
yeah.
I'm walking to freaking World War III with credit cards. I didn't know anything about it, right? It was 18, just when I turned 18, at the bank. Yeah. First credit card. Same, yeah. Didn't know anything about interest rates. Didn't know anything about APR.
And even like in that moment when they kind of explain things to you when you get your card, because I know like the bank teller will kind of be like this and that, and like it's like I feel like you're still a bit too young to really like put a grasp on like the fact that like this can actually affect you in the future, you know? Like, at least me, like, at that age, I was like, okay, like, give me the fucking card.
Like, I didn't know anything about credit score. And this is no blame to
Right.
my mom. I love my mom 100%.
Right, yeah.
She raised me to be who I am today. But
We
there's
love
just, like,
you, T.
I know. But it's just like certain things I'm just like, I wish you told me,
I know.
you know?
It's
Because I feel
hard.
like if I would have never made any mistakes,
Yeah.
I would have been a little bit farther than where I am
Right,
today,
yeah.
right? So
I know, but that's the thing too. I also try not to dwell, and this is something I've really been reflecting on in the past, like I guess last year a lot, and like that I want to bring into this year. But like, I really try to not dwell on mistakes that I've made or will continue to make, because the thing is, ultimately, even like it kind of like gears and ties into like trauma, like things that happened in your childhood. Like, I try not to dwell on it, because really it makes you the person that you are. Like, I feel like most humans need to kind of learn from their mistakes, or else they'll keep repeatedly making that mistake over again until like they actually learn. So it's like, for example, to kind of put it like simply, is that a word? Simply,
yeah.
to put it simply,
Yeah.
wow, I'm a fucking idiot. To put it simply, honestly, like, I would say, for example, like, you know, you can tell a child, get down from there, you're gonna fall. And they're like, nah, 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 nah. Get down from there, you're gonna fall. Nah, 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 nah. Get down, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna fall and hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Nah, nah, nah.
Yeah. But then they learn not to do it again.
Exactly. After that. And that's the only way I feel like, just us, like, as humans, not even whether, you know, like, doesn't matter on any scenario or situation, you really have to learn from it to actually get to a point where you move past it.
I always say this. I said sometimes you have to experience those things,
certain things, yeah,
to actually change your
right,
ways, right? Because there's gonna be people. A lot of people can tell you things, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't listen, right? But until you actually experience it, then you will be able to make those changes and realize, okay, I don't like this, right? Based on experience, right? So,
and I just like, I think before I never used to think of it that way. Like, you know, you would think about like learning from your mistakes, but I never really thought of it in a way of like, it's shaped me into the person I am, right?
Yeah.
All of my experiences have made me the person I am, and like, good or bad, you know, I also probably have negative traits from certain experiences, but it still makes you the person you are, right? Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter whether it's a negative or a positive thing in your life. It shapes you into the person you are and need to be, and it's really on you to move past those certain things and kind of get to a point where you're happy with, you know, how things are, and not like upset about it, for example.
There's
like,
so
even
much growth in it as
right,
well,
exactly,
you know, seeing those things that you've endured and those mistakes that you have made into who you are now, to learn from them and to change your ways.
Right.
A lot of growth, right?
Exactly.
So to be honest, when I make mistakes, I don't really be hard on myself about it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I tried this, it didn't work. Now grow from it and learn from it, and
exactly
again, right?
And that's the thing. In the moment, it can feel like life or death. Like, it could feel like the worst thing when you make a mistake. You're like, wow, like, you know, you can beat yourself up on it, and like, you're allowed to feel those emotions.
Yeah.
But like, ultimately, it really ties down to the fact of like, you actually making a conscious effort to reflect on it and moving past it.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is. And like, I feel like it kind of ties back into what we were saying in the beginning of like, just us with our childhood, and like how much I feel like I've changed as a person, and why like seeing or hearing you say stories about when I was a child like is like crazy to me, because it's like, I feel like I'm just so far away from that child, you know.
Yeah,
and like,
same as well, even though I wasn't, I feel like my childhood, I was very, you already know, but I was very emotional and insecure.
Yeah.
That word, the word insecure to me was like
the definition
big
of you.
Red letters. It was just always hanging above my head. Yeah. Everywhere I went.
And me, of course, too. Like, still to this day, I'm insecure. Like, I think that it's humane to be insecure about certain things,
Yeah,
you know?
it's normal to have like insecurities, right?
Right.
But don't let those little things affect your life,
Right,
because
your everyday.
I'm an overthinker,
Yeah, same.
right? Which is, I feel like
It's one of
just
the worst traits
terrible.
to have. I fucking hate it because your
It's
brain just doesn't turn
terrible.
off, and then it's like,
And that's something I'm still growing from. I'm still
same.
learning to not overthink everything, like even the smallest things. Like I just
Yeah.
overthink it, and I think of the worst, and like, no, like this is not what you,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, right? And I'm trying
Yeah.
to change those habits, but insecurity and overthinking combined together, it's like, it's terrible. Like
Yeah.
everywhere I went, like, oh, is that person behind me
Right,
looking
right,
at my
right.
arms, or
Same.
this person what are they, you know what I mean, like constantly, right?
Yeah,
And anybody
same.
who knew me in high school, they knew,
Yeah.
right? You know, and I probably was a difficult friend to have, right? I'm not gonna be honest. I'm gonna be I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, because sometimes, like, I wouldn't go out places. They would invite me, and I'm like, I don't really want to go, or I can't wear that, or
Yeah.
and they're like, oh, you're just so girl, right?
Yeah.
And
I feel like, though, it's weird. I want to hear what you have to say, but it's weird because in my like childhood, like elementary school days, I was very much insecure. But I feel like to the point where you were at in elementary, I wasn't at, and it only came to fruition in like high school. Like I got more insecure in high school.
Yeah.
I think because it's like more people, you know?
But yeah, I feel the same. Like I did have insecurities, but in high school,
But you did a switch. You got more confident in high school.
No, I didn't,
Really?
girl. No. I was like, this is saying, it's so different from what someone's feeling based on the outside that they project, right? You never know what's going through someone's mind, right?
Yeah.
I felt like I got worse in high school.
Really?
Because in elementary school, you guys, I always used to, we had races outside, or we play Foursquare. I was always
included still. Yeah,
like, you know, sports and stuff like that. I was,
I guess in high school you feel a bit more like secluded, and you get like kind of exiled out.
Yeah, I feel like when high school came, you know, you got more people there. People are forming their cliques, and
sorry, the dog.
I know.
Sorry.
I felt like when high school came,
yeah,
I was more insecure because, you know, it's new people, right?
Yeah.
You're so familiar with the people that you came into high school with from elementary that you don't even know these people. So when they're going to a different crowd, right? It's like you just, I don't know, you don't really, with me, I don't like change. It was something hard, right? I didn't like being uncomfortable.
Right.
And my goal was to make sure that I was able to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? To get myself more out there. So I hated it in high school when, like, my friends, they were doing all these things, and I'm like, I'm not really like with it, right? So that I don't know. I just feel like, yes, I projected off that I was fine.
Yeah.
But deep down in my mind, a lot of insecurities.
It wasn't like that,
every single day, like insecurity about the way I look. Right. You everybody knew, like, my makeup. Yeah. Always have to have it done. I can't go out.
I know.
It's so bad.
Yeah.
So now I'm just like, I don't even care.
Yeah, literally.
I don't care about anything. Like, I'm fine. I'm happy the way I look. I'm happy with everything that's going on in my life. But high school, I feel like those 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I feel like it's also because, like, when you know, age out of high school and like you become like a young adult to adulthood, like your priorities change, right? So it's like we've been able to kind of get to a point where it doesn't like affect us, and we don't really care about what people say anymore because of the fact that like we're not waking up every day being like, oh, I hope today someone doesn't think I look ugly because I don't have my brows done, or you know, like that's not our priorities at this point in our life. So we're able to move past it. Whereas in high school, it's like you're going to school to see people, like you want to meet people, you want people to be intrigued by you, you know, you want to dabble in relationships, and it's like those kind of things like affect you because it's like that's what you're constantly thinking about on a day-to-day, whereas like as we get older, it's not really like something that's needing to be on our top priority list,
Yeah.
right? Like you were kind of saying, I was like more not really like the popular girl, but like everyone knew me, like everyone talked to me, like I maintained a lot of friendships. And it was like once I came to high school, I wanted to kind of continue that on.
Yeah.
Not to be like the popular girl again, because like that's its own kind of like issue, but like I wanted it to be where like everyone can talk to me. I can go hang out with this group and that group, and it would be like fine and still accepted.
Yeah.
So it was weird because in grade 9, like the first year, I was able to do that. You know, like I had parties at my house every day, like after exam week. You know, like I was like the ITGIRL. You know, and then once I got into a relationship in grade 10, I kind of like started not purposely, but distancing myself because I was mainly hanging out with, you know, my mans or whatever. And just like the people in that kind of friend group, right? And so I think my insecurities came from like the fact that I was no longer a part of that group that I expected to be hanging with throughout my years of high school.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of where the insecurity came from, because it's like I see all these different groups like that I used to hang with going and doing all these things, and I'm just like at home like, shit.
Yeah.
No one fucks with the girl anymore. Shit. What did I do? You know, like that kind of vibe.
You know what I also, I wouldn't say regret because I don't really regret a lot of things, but one thing that if I could change in high school is I wish I did a lot of more things for myself. I'm not saying I did things because someone was dragging me to do them.
Yeah.
But I think I like went to a lot of parties or went with places with certain people because they were
it's that what they were doing.
You know what I mean? So I just did it because just to do
just
it.
To hang,
You know, whereas I think I wish I did things that I liked, right? For myself.
Yeah, no.
So if I could take away from my high school experience, just put yourself first a little bit. I didn't put myself first, right?
I think
I
it's
had low
hard
self-esteem,
though.
right?
I think that everyone kind of goes through that. Like I feel like even like the most it girls in our school, like I feel like they even feel that type of way, you know, like even them having to maintain that it girl vibe in high school is like a lot to deal with, you know. So I'm sure that even put pressure on, you know, people that we would have strived to be in high school, you know. So it's like I think that again with like not being like not dwelling on those situations, like obviously we went through it, we have, you know, some things we may have done differently now, like reflecting back on it, but at the same time, like look, for example, I wouldn't have had Kalea if I didn't distance myself from that friend group and meet father of my child.
You want to beat that out?
No, you're good. Yeah, like I, you know, so it's like I think that certain things happen for a reason and you're placed in certain scenarios, whether it's to learn from it or to gain from it, you know. And that's all you can really kind of view it as, or else you'll just be in this like miserable mindset of regretting everything, you know. So yeah. How to avoid FOMO when cutting off toxic friend groups. So FOMO, for you people out there that may not know, is fear of missing out. So yeah, just to let you know, because some people may not know it. But yeah, how do you like get over the FOMO of kind of cutting off a friend group knowing that, you know, they're out there doing something
and you may be left behind?
Yeah, it kind of tied into a little bit of what I was saying before of like just now getting into a relationship. I just kind of slowly distance myself, or like maybe people distance themselves from me just because I was at a different point where they weren't at. Like obviously when you get into a relationship, you kind of have specific boundaries and loyalties to the person, and you know, you want to hang out with them versus, you know, certain other people. Like for example, I had a lot of guy friends in elementary and grade 9 that, you know, I just didn't maintain the friendship for the fact of like I'm in a relationship now, right? And you know, girlfriends as well, not just males, but like those certain things kind of tie together, I would say. So like just me distancing myself slowly from certain friend groups, not like necessarily cutting off toxic ones.
Yeah.
I didn't really have any like toxic friend groups per se. I mean, there was a lot of friends and people in high school that looking back just, I mean, I'm sure they were going through their own things,
Yeah.
but just didn't need to really be a part of my life. I thought a lot more people that, you know, I hoped would be loyal to me and were being genuine maybe weren't, you know, or didn't have my best in like intentions and like their interests. Like I don't know. It was just kind of like I look back on friends in high school where I'm like, I really trusted this person, you know, and maybe they didn't turn out how I wanted them to be kind of thing. But I think just like getting to a point where whatever the reason you're cutting off that friend group, whether you have another friend group to fall back on or whether you're just deepening your relationship with yourself, I think it's like really important to not even worry about what they're doing and what you're actually missing out on. It's more just like coming to terms with why you even cut them off in general and why you're at that point where you're no longer with them anymore.
I
You know?
feel like a lot of I agree 100% with you, and I feel
Right.
like a lot of people, they do have that feeling of missing out,
Yeah.
or they don't really want to cut off that toxic friend group because of
Mhm.
the amount of years that they've built their friendship of, right?
Mhm.
Which can be, I don't know how to say this, like it can be difficult, but
Yeah.
like I can't continue going on with the headache, right?
Mhm.
It's like, oh well, we've been friends for so many years.
Mhm.
Not to be insensitive, but like forget that.
Yeah.
Like just at the
And
end of the day, like yes, okay, you guys were friends for a long time and that's cool, right? But as humans, we're supposed to grow. We're supposed to grow out of the friends that we were. Maybe you were
right.
friends with them during this specific time, right? And
Yeah.
now you realize, okay, this is something that I don't really like anymore. This,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't like clubbing. I don't like
Yeah.
drinking. I don't like doing all those things anymore. And this is where
Yeah.
my head is at, right? Yes, okay, you may have to say goodbye, right? And you never know, you could cross paths maybe when they're at that stage of where you want to be, or maybe they decide the
Right.
things that you like they like as well, right? But
Yeah.
you're supposed to be involved in your
Evolving.
evolve,
Yeah.
yeah. You're
Evolving.
supposed
Yeah.
to continue to grow, right?
Yeah.
So to be honest, like I said, do what's best for you at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and hopefully that person understands.
Yeah.
But if not, you can't just continue to trap yourself in something you know is toxic and it's affecting you in a big way,
Yeah. For
right?
sure.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like also what I've learned, because even still to this day, it affects me, and I really wonder how my life would be different if I was still friends with my elementary childhood bestie.
right.
I love her to death
Oh
still to this day.
yeah.
Like there, you know, like I just long to have known the friendship we would have maintained.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I don't think that I would have gotten to this point in my life where I am still being her friend. I don't think I would
Really?
have met the father of
Yeah.
my child. I don't think I would have had a child at this point because I'd probably,
It
you
would
know,
have,
like
yeah, yeah.
it's just like I've really come to a point where it's like if someone's leaving my life or I need to make the decision to cut someone out of my life, it is for the better of myself, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like and you really have to think of it in that way. It's selfish unfortunately, but at the end of the day, you only have yourself in this life. Like you're living your own life, you know, you can't just think about, oh, what's this person going to say if I cut them off? Or, you know, like you can't think of it in
Yeah.
that way. You really have to think of like, I'm getting to a point where I'm evolving in my life and trying to grow up and get out of certain habits that maybe don't serve me anymore.
Yeah.
And if it means that I have to cut off a friendship that's either toxic or that I treasured so deeply, that just has to happen. And whether they follow or they don't will kind of prove to you whether or not they were meant to be in your life for that long, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just really, you really just kind of have to get into that mindset. And it's hard because the mindset that I'm in right now might 15, 16, 17, 18-year-old self would have never been able to even grasp mentally. And it sucks because it does really come with as you get older. And I know, like, when I'm 30, I'm gonna be like, girl, what the fuck were you even saying at 24? Like, I think that unfortunately it kind of does come with age and wisdom, and like you working on evolving your life every year kind of thing.
And sorry to interrupt you.
No,
and on that journey of while you're like yourself is growing as well, you will gain friends on that journey as well, right? So where you are at that stage in life, you will gain friends who are there as well, right?
Exactly.
So I mean,
everything will come into your life when it needs to and leave when it needs to also.
Exactly. So
and that's on period poo. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
To me, in the past, I used to take it hard, right? But now honestly, I just think like people come and go, right? And if someone's not in your life, it's not hate towards them. It's nothing. It's like, you know what? I wish you nothing but the best. We're friends and we're not friends now, and I hope you're doing good in life. Why am I gonna continue to walk around and hate or what that person did, or this is, you know what I mean? Just like, I'm not there anymore. I moved on, you moved on. That's it, right? I wish everybody but nothing but the best in life.
Exactly.
That's it.
And I think that if you're still in a mindset where you're like hating on other people, like at this type of age, it's just like it just kind of shows that you clearly haven't grown as an individual. Like, I think it's hard also with today's society of like being on social media and showing all the luxuries you have in life and stunting and flaunting all the good things and not showing the bad things. Like, it's made everyone kind of be in that mindset of like still a little bit being a hater. But if you get past that point and you like, I guess it just really depends on where you are in your maturity level, right?
And if you are doing that, you have to ask yourself, like, what am I doing this for? Is it, am I doing these things because I'm happy within where I am and I just want to be able, or is it because I want revenge and to show the other person what
I'm
she's
doing better?
Because if it's coming from a toxic mindset,
then you're
you
still toxic.
You haven't grown for that. But if it's like you're fine and you're happy and you just, you know what I mean, then that's okay, right? But you know what I mean?
I think that everything, even if you don't think, is really like a lesson for you to reflect on yourself. Even when it comes to like a breakup, for example, like searching up your ex, like I know a lot of people be like, oh, let me see what they're doing, like, and it's like,
everybody's been through that.
Exactly. And it comes from a place of like, a part of you longing, while you were in that relationship, maybe to see what they're doing, whether it's in a negative or positive way. But I think it also like you have to kind of look at that situation and reflect on yourself of being like, are you going into it thinking or hoping that they're not doing good? Or are you going into it or thinking that, you're just checking to see how they're genuinely doing?
I have a question about that as well. What do you think about people who've been in relationships, but after coming out the relationships, they slander their ex-partners?
I think slander in what way?
Like, okay, for example, for me, on social media, I don't like it. It depends on what you've been through with that person. Like, if that person was abusive and you're angry, right? Okay, some people have different ways of.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Slandering in which way? Because it's like slandering
right?
their character while they were still with you, or slandering the person they've become now not being with you.
Like, say you come out of a relationship and you're like, oh, F that guy, he's a freaking loser. It's like, how can you once say that when you were in love with that person, right? If you really grown, you're like, okay, you know what? That person was not for me. Right. I realize that's not what I want.
Yeah.
I hope you grow with the whatever you need to grow in, but I know that with me, I'm gonna find someone who's able to fulfill all the needs that
you weren't able to.
Exactly, right? But to go on and say, I hate you, F you, you're nothing but da-da-da-da.
You weren't even doing this, you weren't even doing that.
Exactly, right?
I think it's just, again,
that's why I said
childish.
It depends, right? Like I said, if that person was actually like very manipulative and was a narcissist, or he, you know what I mean?
But
then
I think
that's something else.
If it's that instance, you can also explain your side of the story without slandering someone. Like, you can say that someone was a narcissist and very emotionally or physically abusive towards you without being like, he was a shitty person because he did this, or she was a bitch because she did that. You know, like, you can say it in a way that's not slandering and just like explaining your side of the story that comes with like a level of maturity and moving past it, versus like, you know, if you're gonna come out of it a week later and slander, it's like obviously you're still hurt and angry and it's emotion behind it.
That's why I said I'm kind of iffy about it, because some people have different ways of releasing their anger, right? Some people, I don't know, they write songs, they talk about it, they do whatever, right?
But I think like slandering someone on social media is childish in any aspect. I think that you were once in love with, especially if it was for, you know, a long-term thing, or more than a year, you know.
I wouldn't do that. I've never done that, but I'm just trying to think from their
perspective.
You know,
I don't know. I think it would be a very specific kind of situation for me to personally get to that point, like where I'm like it online being like, fuck this guy.
Yeah, you know? Like if you were to talk about your experience to help other women who go through abuse, I understand that. But just to like, you know what I mean, months later and you're continuing to slander someone, you're still in a state of hurt or anger, right? So
it kind of just shows that you haven't healed.
Healed from it. Yeah. Which, I mean, everybody's healing journey is different.
Right. But how can I stop being sad when I'm the only one in the friend group without a man? So like, you're the only one single. All your friends are like wifed up or hubbied up,
and they're doing all these things.
And just like, you're seeing that they're in a relationship and you're not. Like, how do you get past kind of being like, man, why am I in a relationship? Like, how do you get to a point where you're like,
I think
fine with it and genuinely happy for them and not being like, I wish that was me kind of thing?
I know it's gonna sound cliche and very corny, but like self-love. I don't know why. Like when you start to see your friend and their partners taking them out or doing this, do that for yourself. Their partners buying the flowers. Buy
romanticize flowers. Your life, bitch. I bought myself these flowers.
Yeah, they're nice. By the way, yeah.
I can buy myself flowers. No, just
no, but like for real, start romanticizing your life and doing the things that you wanted. You've seen your friend's partner do that. Do that for yourself. Oh well, they took it to the. Take yourself to the movies.
Yeah.
Love yourself. Do things. Then you wouldn't have to feel lonely in those areas that you want at the end of the day, right? That's what helped me, right? I mean, I was never the jealous type. Like, I'm always gonna be happy for my friends, right? It's like, oh, you know, I want flowers. Yeah. Okay, order myself some flowers. It comes on my door, like surprise. Literally. Like it's just simple as that, right? Yeah. When you learn to do those simple things, right, you continue to grow, and then, I mean, hey, taking solo trips by yourself, you don't really have to worry about it, and then you have someone to add on to that, right? Because a lot of people in this world, they look for someone. There's a lot of us
to do things with. I'm very much that. I'm such a dependable person.
Yeah, I was like that too, but
I think, side note, I did want to say something, but I'll let you say what you had to say. I think that also stems from trauma of like childhood, you know, which is, it's hard because like that's something that like, as much as you can work through it, it will never undo the like either abandonment or, you know, longing for kind of those certain relationships or things. And it's unfortunate because it's kind of like something that will always just be a part of you if you've experienced those type of traumas, which sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, continue what you had to say.
So yeah, a lot of people, including myself, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna lie, you try to look for someone who can fill that void, someone who can bring happiness in your life when you're already supposed to have it within yourself, right?
Yeah.
And when you have it within yourself, you have someone else to add onto that, right? Yeah. So even if something was to happen and it goes down, that person leaves your life, you're still complete within yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure.
So you look for someone and you depend on someone to bring that, and then they leave and you're back to square one, feeling broken and
even worse at that point, because then it's like all this time that I was really depending on that person, right? And it's like gone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So make yourself happy first, and I mean, someone else will come in and add to that.
Yeah. Period.
Period.
I love like the thought. I feel like it's kind of become more popular like within the past couple of years, but like just the thought of like romanticizing your life. Like
Oh, I freaking love
I
it.
love it. Like I'm such a like if I know something like will genuinely make me happy, like I think I was saying this in maybe I didn't mention it. I don't remember, but um something like that genuinely makes me happy. I'm such a foodie, you know, like as you guys can see by my mukbangs. I just like love eating good foods, and something that has really like helped me with like motherhood specifically. I was saying like what I do majority of the time after I put my daughter to bed to like kind of decompress from the day and like just, you know, get a breath of fresh air without anyone bothering you or having anything like on your mind is like I just love cooking myself a meal, something I've been craving, and watching my favorite show, or like, you know, like something like this. I just like romanticized my juice, bitch. Like it's fucking juice, and I just made it look cute to like make me feel happy, you know, like the simplest things can be like just such an added bonus to make you genuinely happy for yourself. And it doesn't have to be something like what that has to do with money or material kind of items. It could be like you take a bath and you put a candle in the bath, you know, like the simplest things can really be the best things to romanticize your life with. And I think that it's so commonly overlooked because not a lot of people actually like take in those little things that affect them in a more positive way. Like, for example, like I said, I bought myself these flowers, and like it genuinely made me happy to see them every day, knowing that like I bought them for myself, right? Like, if nobody wants to buy me flowers, I can fucking buy it, you know? Like why not?
Exactly.
Take yourself out to dinner. I just love that she just will literally go and do it and be like, I love this shit. Probably even more than if you were with somebody else.
No, honestly, it's true. I don't know. Sometimes like, has it really gotten this bad? Like, I don't want to go with anybody else. Like, you're going, my sister's like, you're going to the movies?
Can I come?
Can I come?
No.
I'm so sorry. No. Yeah, I like just doing these things myself because it's like, how long are you going to continue to wait on someone to?
No, for sure.
It's like, you want to do these things, go by yourself, and then you 100% will end up liking it, right? That's why, like I said, I want to be comfortable with doing things that are uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable for me to take myself out to dinner. You know, everybody's sitting by yourself. Yeah. You know, and you're like, oh, wait, is there anybody else meeting you? And I'm like,
yeah.
No.
I'm like, literally, shut the fuck up.
I'm like, no, it's not just me.
Okay, we need to take a break, guys. I'm so sorry. This dog's pissing me off. We are back. Sorry if the angle changed. We had to take a little break. As you guys probably heard previously, Unyque here is a nice Christian woman. So I did want to kind of speak about her faith. And, you know, I don't really know how I label myself because my mom was Christian and my dad was Catholic. So I know those are very similar. I was raised, you know, believing in God and like that type of religion.
Instead of just saying Christian woman, because a lot of people, they put like labels, religion over God, right? And I would say like I'm just
a believer of God.
Yeah, like a
follower.
A child of Christ, like someone who believes in Jesus, and you know what I mean? Yeah. Like forget the religion and all this stuff like that. Yeah. Because people put above it, but I'm just someone who my faith and my belief is in Jesus.
If you just pray to your one God that isn't Jesus Christ, I think that's still a bit better than like an atheist that doesn't believe in any gods. You know, like I think that at least praying and believing in one God, whether it's Jesus Christ or whoever else, is better than not at all, or not following those like morally encompassing ways that will lead us closer to our God in the end, kind of thing. Okay, yeah, so I just wanted to kind of say that before we got into all the talk. I know we kind of just did a brief talk, but just because, not like in a controversial way. And I think that religion it's hard to speak about when you're with people that may have different views than you, because it is something that like you're always going to be very opinionated when it comes to your specific beliefs and religion and how you live your life, right? So it's just like, it's hard because, again, if you watching this may not be a very religious person, or you're not tapped into any specific religion and way of living and believing in whatever God, then you may not even want to listen to this part of the video. And if that's the decision you make, that's totally up to you. But I did want to kind of give that leeway before speaking about it. I feel like that's also another reason why a lot of people say that they become atheists or maybe turn on to a different religion because of a lot of the instances that happen to them in church. I think that a lot of times there's, scenarios where you just don't have a good vibe, or the smallest thing could happen to you one time, and it steered you completely away from having
a relationship with
Christ, God, right? And I don't think that as a Christian or Catholic you have to go to church to be considered.
It's about, you're 100%. It's about having your relationship with Christ, right? At the end of the day, that's why Christ came on this earth, to save us all. So no matter where you are, you're able to have a connection with Christ. I'm sorry for those who have been in church and had a bad experience, but I guarantee you, when you're going through these things, it's not God. It's enemy, and enemies can send his demons or whatever through people. I know when people hear the word demon, they think, oh, scary stuff. There's people who come in
bad spirits and bad auras
and stuff like that. They are in people to throw you off, right? Off of the journey that you have with Christ. So find a church that is loving, right? You're supposed to have a community. They're supposed to love another. We're supposed to worship God together, love God together. That's why they're called brothers and sisters in Christ, right? They're supposed to be your family, right? So the best thing is not to steer away from God, but to pray about it and find a place where God is 100% in that church, right? Because whatever church you went to that didn't, it may be corrupted, right? And it may not be a good church.
And that's the thing, it's kind of hard to really know, right? Because you're going into it just expecting that it's, a good place, and it's, they're actually following by God's word,
and it's sad sometimes
and have good intentions, right? So when you experience those type of situations, it could just deter you from the religion in general, not even from that specific church, right? You could be like, oh, well, these Catholic Christian people were not living by what I thought the word of God was. And then you're like, oh, this is fake, these
based
people,
on your one experience. And there's millions of Christians out there. Maybe that that area that wasn't good, but doesn't mean the whole, you know what I mean?
The whole religion itself.
Exactly, right? Don't just base your relationship with God based on just church. Have an actual relationship with him, you and him, right? Pray to him, talk to him. And then a lot of people, they think that we gotta go, oh, Heavenly Father, oh, high and mighty and Jesus and da-da-da. It's like, no, just talk to him like he's your friend.
Conversation.
Exactly, like, this is what's going on in my life, or I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. God, show me the way. God, he will speak to you so many ways, through your phone, through social media, through people, through things, whatever it is, through dreams, right? You will get that. God will show you one way or another.
That's pretty much it, guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. Honestly, if you made it to the end, this is probably going to be one of my longest videos. But if you made it to the end, I appreciate you.
Shout out to you for making it all the way to the end.
So much love. I appreciate it, because I'm just like, I love long format. So like, I don't know. Some people may not, but this was a long one, guys. I hope you had a little drink or a little snack or something to listen to this little episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. Uni is definitely, this is not going to be the last time you guys are seeing her, for sure.
Not.
She's going to be back soon. So if you have any specific questions or comments for her, definitely leave them down below. We'll definitely get to that in the next episode that she's in. But I really, really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for making it to the end.
This was fun, though.
I appreciate you. Thank you for coming on my podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, of course. I wanted her to come so bad, guys. You don't understand. This was such a good episode. Please don't forget, if you want Uni to come back, to like this video, comment down below, like I said, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys so much again for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Until next time, bye.
See ya.